Hey, greetings, everyone. Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, Senior Fellow at the Media Research Center. I am quite sure that most of everyone is sitting around and really just honed into those Mueller congressional hearings up there in the House Judiciary Committee and House Intel Committee, or maybe not. I think we all know the story behind what happened with this whole Russia collusion fiasco and the fact that the Democrat Socialist Party are hanging on by a thread to try to, create some type of uproar or something that they can use to impeach President Trump. But I think right now is really an embarrassing moment, not just for the Democrats, but also for Robert Mueller, because for whatever reason, he doesn't want to address the issue of how this entire fiasco got started in the first place and how it seems to be, well, rather targeted against the wrong people when the people that should be targeted, well, they have gotten away with it. After all, we know that the entire Fusion GPS dossier was the result of Russian intelligence. And I thought that Mr. Mueller was supposed to be looking at Russian interference into our election. But that's really not the purpose of this video commentary, because there's something bigger that is going on. There's something about our country that we need to sit down and talk about. And it revolves around this simple phrase: take our country back. Now, there are many people that when they hear constitutional conservatives say that they would like to take our country back, well, they say that's racist. As a matter of fact, Colin Kaepernick comes out and talks about how the Betsy Ross flag is racist and those founding fathers were just racist people. They owned slaves and what have you. Well, that's not what constitutional conservatives are talking about when they say take our country back. What they want to do is get back to those first principles. What they want to do is get back to understanding why this country got started in the first place back in 1776. Because it was all about the right relationship between the individual, their sovereignty, their liberties, their rights, and the institution of government. Because what our founding fathers saw, what those incredibly astute men saw, what all of those early American patriots realized in those 13 little colonies, was that liberty and freedom was important. And it started with, well, us, as they later said, we the people. But when we hear that phrase, take our country back, it's not about taking our country back to, well, the left wants to say we go back to slavery, we go back to racism. Well, the greatest purveyors of slavery and racism in the United States of America, well, it's always been the Democrat Party, if you really want to be honest about history. But taking our country back goes back to understanding our inalienable rights do not come from man. They come from our Creator. Our inalienable rights are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. When you look at the incredible constitutional rights that we have that are codified in that thing called the Bill of Rights, our first 10 amendments to the Constitution, those aren't things that man can take and give. No, they come from our Creator. That's what John Locke talked about with natural rights theory. Taking our country back has nothing to do with color of skin or has nothing to do with racism. It has everything to do with understanding that this country was founded upon the preeminence of the individual, not the dominance of the government and governmental institutions. But yet when you hear the exact same phrase and you put it in terms of what the progressive socialist left wants to do, yeah, they want to take our country back as well. They want to take our country back to the relationship that it had with King George III, because they believe that they, government, the progressive socialists, have the right to determine our outcomes, not us to be able to determine our opportunities. And when you think about the onerous nature, when you think about those Bill of Rights, when you think about all of those usurpations and the reasons why we decided to separate ourselves from Mother England, it's the exact same things that today the progressive socialist left wants to take us back to. So we can sit around and we can be focused on the Mueller hearings, but there's a bigger issue that we need to be focused on. This incredible divide that we see in the United States of America is about one single thing. What is the relationship of each and every one of us to the institution of government? Will we take our country back to understanding our Declaration of Independence and our founding documents, our rule of law, the Constitution? Or will we allow the progressive socialist left to take our country back to the days when the individual was just someone to be squashed? When you look at the ideological agenda of the left, when you think about the fact that so many people fought to bring this country together as a sovereign nation, and now the left wants to say, we're just a place, we're just an open piece of land. Anyone can come here and we'll provide them all the free benefits, what have you. Because their ideological agenda becomes the determination of what they are saying are rights and privileges. And when you compare those ideological rights of the left against our constitutional rights, guess which one loses? Our individual constitutional rights. And so the choice is very clear. It's not about the Mueller hearing. It's about you. It's about whether or not you still believe that you are a sovereign person here in the United States of America. It's whether or not you believe that the institution of government is subservient to you, or whether the institution of government is above you. When we hear the left talk about all the things that they're going to provide, it's much the same as Mother England said to all of the colonists. This is what we're going to do for you and also to you if you do not see yourselves as subjected to us. Take our country back. An incredible phrase. For some of us, it means taking our country back to those basic fundamental principles and values upon which this country was established. For others, it means taking our country back to a time and a place where a few people ruled over others, and the individual had to surrender to the collective. Which side do you want to be on as we take our country back?